Imagine a situation where your AD carry locks in Vayne, your support locks in Zyra, your top lane picks Riven, and your mid laner picks Yasuo. Afterwards, your team tells you, we need a tank. And the truth is, they're actually right. You do need a tank because without a durable frontline, you run a very high risk of losing the game. So the question is, what kind of tank should you pick? There are a few key qualities that define tanks. First and foremost, they must be durable enough to tank damage for their team. Malphite is a rock-solid example of what a tank ought to be because he can tank damage quite well. A second quality of tanks is that they can disrupt the damage output of the enemy team. Shen is a good tank because he can redirect the damage from the enemy team onto himself instead of his allies. A rare quality that's great to have is the ability to save allies. Galio, as an example, has damage reduction for his allies as he dashes towards them. Taking all of these things into consideration, you pick one of the many tanks that are available in the game, and now you're ready to roll. Tanks are very strong this season, which is why you tend to see 2 or more of them on a team in high-level play. But there are a number of problems with tanks that become more and more of an issue the further and further you are from very high elo brackets. The first problem is that tanks tend to be weak early on, which leaves them vulnerable to getting killed by the enemy jungler, as in this example where Sejuani gets caught and killed inside our jungle by the enemy Lee Sin. Another problem is that most tanks have a very specific play pattern which you must master. You must initiate at the exact right moment, landing all of your abilities, and your team must capitalize on your initiation to be successful. This creates a lot of pressure to play a tank effectively, and it can be frustrating when things go wrong. It's very easy to screw up your engage, as Sejuani finds out here. She initiates on Draven at the worst possible time while her teammates are not in a position to follow up, and most of her team dies as a result. Another issue is that tanks tend to deal very low damage as they depend on their teammates to make plays off of their engages, and this can become extremely frustrating when your team is behind. In this example, Rammus has a Veigar and a Xayah who are very far behind, and he can tank damage for his team, but there is not enough damage coming from the backline to make a difference. In summary, the frustrations of many aspiring tank junglers is that they are vulnerable to invades, there's a lot of pressure to execute a proper engage, and if your team sucks, then you simply don't have the damage to make up for it. Luckily, there is a tank that can make up for all of these shortcomings, and that is Dr Mundo. And we'll start off by briefly looking at his abilities and how you can expect to use them. Dr Mundo's Q is Infected Cleaver. This is actually the hardest part of playing Dr Mundo, and personally I'm not very good at landing it. Luckily, if you miss it, it's not a big deal. You can always throw another one and another one until you finally land one, and from there you can close the gap to your target. Unlike, say, playing Gragas, where if you miss your ultimate, your team will probably ask the enemy team to have you reported. While this ability does tend to do a lot of damage when maxed, it's not very reliable, so I tend to max it second or last, as I prefer to use it as a means to slow down fleeing targets so that my allies can catch up to them. In this example of a teamfight, we use Infected Cleaver to slow down the enemy Warwick, allowing our Gangplank to close the gap and kill Warwick. Burning Agony is Mundo's W. The real value of this ability is the extra tenacity that it gives you. Combine it with Mercrez and an Elixir of Iron and you'll be running around with 70% tenacity. The Burning Agony has some synergy with Mundo's E, which is Masochism. This ability is an auto-attack reset that grants a huge amount of flat attack damage based on missing health. And it also has a passive that grants Dr Mundo a lot of increased magic resistance. This is the ability to tend to max first when jungling. The combination of the tenacity on Burning Agony and the stacking magic resist on Masochism makes Mundo a very strong pick against magic damage compositions once he has a few items. In this example, stacking the tenacity of Mercury Treads with Burning Agony and the stacked magic resist on Mundo's E, we run down a fed enemy Heimerdinger through all of his turrets, killing him easily. Now you might ask, what happens when Dr Mundo runs into the enemy jungler? In this example, Dr Mundo runs into the enemy Lee Sin in the river. If this was any other tank jungler, the right thing to do would be to run away because Lee Sin is simply too strong at level 3. But Dr Mundo is not like other tanks. With 2 early points in his E, his auto attack damage ramps up incredibly high as he drops lower and lower on HP, allowing him to kill most assassin junglers. This will often leave them confused, wondering how this could have happened. Additionally, Dr Mundo is the tank jungler who can invade and kill other junglers in their own jungle. If Dr Mundo tags you with the cleaver once, odds are it's probably over and you're going to be dying soon. Another perk of Dr Mundo is that he can't really be assassinated even if you are ahead. Any champion that relies on a rotation of spells to kill a target cannot kill Dr Mundo once he has a few items. In this example, the fed Kha'Zix on the enemy team tries to use his massive lead to take down Dr Mundo. But Dr Mundo gets stronger and stronger as he loses most of his HP and he manages to kill Kha'Zix without relying on his ultimate. Dr Mundo's ultimate is Sadism. This ability can restore 60 to 70% of Dr. Mundo's health, depending on your masteries and build. Pop this ability as you go all in on the enemy team, and the damage that they deal to you will make you stronger and stronger, while your ultimate will keep you alive. As in this example where Dr. Mundo runs down the enemy Ashe and Kha'Zix by the Dragon Pit. Everything that goes into Dr. Mundo's kit makes him an extremely strong tower diving tank once he has a few items. In this example, we flash over the wall to tower dive the enemy Ornn, killing him easily. Now, most other tanks would leave Lucian alone at this point, but Dr. Mundo is not like most tanks. So instead, we press R and run straight at the enemy Lucian, ignoring the turret, which is just going to make us stronger. A few cleaver and auto attacks later, Lucian is dead. This brings us to the next point about Dr. Mundo's diving capabilities. Most tanks would have their abilities gated by cooldowns, allowing them to get one target at most while going for a tower dive. Dr. Mundo, however, has incredibly low cooldowns on all of his fighting abilities, which means he's able to keep fighting so long as he has health to sustain him. Dr. Mundo is the only tank that could use all his abilities to kill the enemy Trashshare and still have his abilities available for use to chase down the enemy Xayah and kill her as well. Now, there is one critical flaw that keeps Dr. Mundo from being a top tier jungler that you should know about. Dr. Mundo's main weakness is that he does not have hard crowd control abilities to disrupt the damage output of the enemy team. In this example, as Syndra comes to kill Ahri, there's nothing really that Dr. Mundo can do to save Ahri the moment she gets stunned by Syndra. The only thing that he can do is kill Syndra in return. Now, I know you'll want to know about the optimal runes, masteries, and jungle paths. These are the runes, build, and masteries that I found success with, and my jungle path is to start Machete with 3 HP pots, clear 2 buffs and wolves to reach level 3, followed by ganking or counter jungling. I'll typically hold on to both HP pots and use them when I pick a fight with the enemy jungler. Beyond that, it's simply a matter of jungling as usual while building tank items. In summary, if you find yourself feeling frustrated while playing tank junglers because you're always getting counter jungled, or you're having trouble synchronizing with your team when going for engages, or your team simply sucks and they do no damage, do consider picking up Dr. Mundo, as he's the only tank jungler that does not have these problems. He is not without his share of flaws, but he can make for a less frustrating experience while playing a tank jungler. If you enjoyed this video, do subscribe to the channel, follow on Twitter, and check out the video links on either side. Leave a comment about the kind of content you'd like to see in future videos, and check out the Patreon link if you'd like to support this channel directly.